Hey guys, in today's video we will be discussing about cataract surgery. Mainly there are two types of cataract surgery. First of all, there is intracapsular cataract extraction and there is extracapsular cataract extraction. In intracapsular extraction, we extract the cataract along with its lens capsule. That is, structure of lens, right? This is anterior capsule, posterior capsule, and cortex will be there here and nucleus will be there here, right? In intracapsular lens cataract extraction, we extract whole of this we will be extracting. And in extracapsular cataract extraction, we will remove only the cataractous part. If it is nuclear cataract, we will extract only that cataractous part along with this cortex, but lens capsule will be intact. We will not remove lens capsule. Nowadays this intracapsular lens extraction is not followed. Extracapsular extraction is the one we follow nowadays. Why? Because in intracapsular cataract extraction, we will remove capsule also, so we cannot place IOL. It is difficult to place IOL. In extracapsular cataract extraction, we will not remove the capsule, so it is easier to place an IOL. So in extracapsular lens cataract extraction, capsule will be retained, and in that capsule we can place this IOL. What is IOL? Intraocular lens. Since we are removing the lens, we have to replace lens with another thing so that patient does not suffer from any refractive error. So we place IOL. We have seen that there are intracapsular cataract extraction, extracapsular cataract extraction. These are two types of cataract surgery I discussed now, right? In intracapsular cataract extraction, capsule is also removed, and in extracapsular cataract extraction, capsule is not removed. And in this extracapsular cataract extraction, there are three types. First is conventional extracapsular cataract extraction, and small incision cataract surgery, and phacoemulsification. The difference in these three is the size of incision we give is larger in conventional, and it's a bit smaller in small incision, and phacoemulsification we give very small incision. Nowadays we do small incision cataract surgery and phacoemulsification. Conventional is not followed nowadays. So I'm going to discuss small incision cataract surgery. The main advantage of small incision cataract surgery is that in this a sutureless, self-sealing, valvular sclerocorneal tunnel is made. What is meant by this? Sutureless. That means you need not to apply any kind of sutures. So there is decreased chances of astigmatism. What is astigmatism? This is irregularity in surface of cornea that leads to some kind of refractive error in decreased vision. That is astigmatism. Self-sealing. Self-sealing means there is no need of suture. It closes by itself. After completion of this surgery, we deepen anterior chamber with the help of some saline or ringer lactate solution. Due to that, this corneoscleral tunnel, we make this corneoscleral tunnel. This will close by itself. That is called self-sealing, valvular, because it is closing by the increase in pressure, and this is valvular. Self-sealing sutureless corneoscleral tunnel. So coming to steps in small incision cataract surgery. First of all, we have to do bridle suture. What is this bridle suture? To fix the eyeball in downward gaze, we apply suture to the superior rectus. This is eyeball, and we want eyeball to be fixed in a downward gaze. So here there will be superior rectus. We apply a suture to this superior rectus so that eyeball will be fixed in the downward gaze. So this is first step. And second step is conjunctival flap and exposure of sclera. What is this? This is limbus, right? In the near the limbus, from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock position, we give an incision. From 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock position, we give an incision. It is fornix based incision. Fornix based conjunctival incision is given here. And conjunctiva and Tenon's capsule are dissected. If I cut this like this, you can see that this is conjunctiva, Tenon capsule and sclera. Conjunctiva, Tenon's capsule, sclera. So we have to separate this. These two things are separated from sclera so that we can see sclera now up to 4 millimeters. Up to 4 millimeters, conjunctiva and Tenon capsule are separated from sclera. So we exposed the sclera and we made a conjunctival flap. And now third step is hemostasis. It can be achieved through wet field cautery. We apply this wet field cautery to achieve hemostasis. What is hemostasis? If there is bleeding, we have to stop this bleeding, and we do this by wet field cautery. And fourth step is sclerocorneal tunnel incision. This is fourth step. What is meant by this? We have discussed earlier, right? We have to make a sclerocorneal tunnel, that is self-sealing. In this step we are making that. In this there are 3 steps. First of all, external scleral incision. We have made this conjunctival flap and we have exposed sclera, right? In that exposed sclera we are gonna make an incision, and in that incision, if this is the sclera, from side view, I am showing you the side view from sclera. This is whole globe, and this is side view of a sclera. Okay, and this is cornea. Think that this is cornea and this is also sclera, and this is limbus. 1.5 to 2 millimeters away from this limbus, we are gonna give an incision of 1/2 to 1/3 up till here or up till here. We gonna give this incision. And from front view, what is the length? This is limbus and 1.5 to 2 millimeters from the limbus, right? The length is 5.5 to 7.5 millimeters. This length may be dependent upon the hardness of a nuclear cataract. So from limbus, 1.5 to 2 millimeters away from the limbus, involving half or 1/3 thickness, we are gonna give 5.5 to 7.5 millimeter length of an incision. This is external scleral incision. Next step is formation of tunnel, sclerocorneal tunnel. From this incision, we are gonna insert what is called as crescent knife. Through this crescent knife, we are gonna make a tunnel like this. From this incision, we made a tunnel like this with the help of crescent knife. With the help of crescent knife, we made a sclerocorneal tunnel, and this tunnel extended up to 1 to 1.5 millimeters into clear cornea. So we made a tunnel. And third step is internal corneal incision. You understand up till here, right? After we get into this, we make an internal corneal incision. That is, we make an incision here with the help of keratome. So there is a formation of a tunnel like this. See, we made an incision here up to half of or 1/3 thickness cornea we made an incision, and we made a sclerocorneal tunnel, and then we have made this internal corneal incision. So with the help of keratome, internal corneal incision is made with the help of keratome, and we have made this sclerocorneal tunnel. So this is self-sealing valvular sclerocorneal tunnel. The next step is side port entry. In this, we have seen earlier that we have made an incision from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock position. 5.5 to 7.5 millimeters incision is given, and in this side port at 9 o'clock position, a small incision is made. It is of 1.5 millimeters length. What is the purpose of this side port entry? It is to aspirate. The main purpose of this side port entry is aspiration. Aspiration of what? Subincisional cortex. Aspiration of subincisional cortex, and to deepen the anterior chamber. After surgery, we have to deepen the anterior chamber to help in this closure of this sclerocorneal tunnel. Now, after we made side port entry, the next step is anterior capsulotomy. What is meant by anterior capsulotomy? Otomy means cutting. We will cut anterior capsule. So this is lens. From the side view, this is lens. This is anterior capsule, this is posterior capsule, and this is the nuclear cataract we needed to extract. We will cut this anterior capsule, and we will remove this anterior capsule so that we can remove this nuclear cataract. So there are 3 ways to cut this anterior capsule. From front view, this is anterior capsule, this is lens and anterior capsule. 3 ways to do this anterior capsulotomy is, first of all, can opener. In this zigzag way, incisions are given like this, zigzag way, and this anterior capsule is removed. And second is continuous circular capsulorhexis. Continuous circular capsulorhexis. This is anterior capsule, and circular incision is given like this, and this capsule is removed. And third one is envelope technique. In this, incision is given, straight incision is given like this, and capsule is removed in this way or this way. Capsule is removed like an envelope. Like an envelope, it is removed. So this is envelope technique, continuous circular capsulorhexis, and can opener technique. So we have removed this anterior capsule. What is the next step? Next step is hydrodissection. In this technique, fluid is given into the this is lens, right? This is cortex, this is nucleus, and there are 2 things other than hydrodissection. Hydrodelimitation is there. What is hydrodelimitation? What is hydrodissection? Hydrodissection is injection of fluid in between this capsule and cortex, so that there is separation of this capsule and cortex, so it will be easier to remove cortex from the capsule. And hydrodelimitation is injection of fluid into the lens in between cortex and nucleus, so that nucleus is easily separated from the cortex. So this is hydrodelimitation, hydrodissection. In this technique we use hydrodissection, that is this one, that is fluid is injected in between capsule and the cortex, so that cortex is separated from the capsule. And then next thing is nuclear management. First of all, this nucleus has to be prolapsed into the anterior chamber. This is eyeball, and this is lens, and this is the nucleus, and we have removed this anterior capsule, so it will be like this. Small part of anterior capsule will be present and posterior capsule will be present, and nucleus is present like this, and this has to be prolapsed into the anterior chamber. After that, this can be achieved by Sinski's hook. With the help of the Sinski's hook, this nucleus is rotated so that it gets prolapsed into the anterior chamber. Prolapse of a nucleus is started by the hydrodissection and it is completed by the Sinski's hook. After prolapse, it has to be brought out. We have made a corneoscleral tunnel like this, and here is the nucleus. We want to bring it outside and it is present in the anterior chamber. So we will draw it out in this way through this sclerocorneal tunnel. We will draw this out. This is called delivery of the nucleus. So this can be done with the help of irrigating Weyer-Vectis or Blumenthal's technique or Faco sandwich technique or Faco fracture technique or fish hook technique. With these techniques, delivery of nucleus outside can be done. So the next step is aspiration of cortex. We have already removed the nucleus. So what are the leftover contents? Part of anterior capsule, whole of the posterior capsule, and cortex. These are the things that are left. Now we have to remove this cortex with the help of two-way irrigation and aspiration cannula. In this method, what we are gonna do is, first we are gonna irrigate this capsular bag. This is called capsular bag. We irrigate this capsular bag and then we aspirate this cortex contents. We aspirate the cortex contents without causing damage to the posterior capsule. We have to be aware of the damage that may be caused to the posterior capsule if we do not take precautions during aspiration. So this is aspirations of cortex. The next step is IOL implantation. So what is IOL? IOL is intraocular lens. The intraocular lens that is used in SICS, that is small incision cataract surgery. The intraocular lens used in SICS is rigid lens, and this is made up of PMMA. So the procedure is, now we are left with only anterior capsule part and posterior capsule. We have to inject viscoelastic material into this capsule bag. After injecting the viscoelastic material, we can insert IOL. IOL has two main parts, optic and haptic. This is optic and this is haptic. This haptic fits in these areas and optic will be there here. So we will fit this IOL in the capsular bag in the posterior chamber. Now IOL implantation is over. Next step is removal of viscoelastic material. Whole of the viscoelastic material present in the anterior chamber and the capsule bag has to be removed. If we leave some of the viscoelastic material in the anterior chamber, that can obstruct the angle of anterior chamber, thereby leading to secondary glaucoma. Why this viscoelastic material causes obstruction of anterior chamber and why not aqueous humor can obstruct? Because viscoelastic material is much more thicker than that of aqueous humor. So because of its increased thickness, it cannot flow through the trabecular meshwork, and that can cause obstruction of this angle of anterior chamber, leading to secondary glaucoma. And last but not least, wound closure. We have already discussed that this sclerocorneal tunnel we have made earlier. Sclerocorneal tunnel is self-sealing, which means no suture is required to close this tunnel. So, if we deepen the anterior chamber with the help of balanced salt solution or Ringer lactate solution. If we deepen this anterior chamber, this will automatically close the sclerocorneal tunnel. That is our aim, right? So we are left with conjunctival flap. And to close this conjunctival flap, we will be using wet field cautery. And in some rare cases, this is not sufficient to close this corneoscleral tunnel. In those cases, infinity suture is used to close this sclerocorneal tunnel. So it is used in very rare cases. Mostly it will be closed with the help of balanced salt solution or Ringer lactate solution. We will do a quick recap of SICS. What is SICS? Small incision cataract surgery. The steps in SICS: first of all, we will apply bridle suture to the superior rectus muscle, and then we make a conjunctival flap, and then we expose the sclera, and then we make a sclerocorneal tunnel, and then we ensure hemostasis with the help of wet field cautery, and then side port entry is made, and then anterior capsulorhexis is done, and hydrodissection is done, and delivery of nucleus is done, and cortex is aspirated, and IOL is implanted. Viscoelastic material is removed and wound is closed. So we will see diagrammatic representation of small incision cataract surgery. These are the steps of SICS, that is small incision cataract surgery. The first step is bridle suture, that is a suture made to superior rectus muscle, and the second step is making of conjunctival flap, and the third step is external scleral incision, and there are three types of incision in this. This can be a straight incision, or this can be a frown shaped, or this can be chevron shaped incision. And the next one is making of sclerocorneal tunnel with the help of what is this crescent knife, and then internal corneal incision done with keratome, and then side port entry is made here in the 9 o'clock position, and then capsulorhexis, it is CCC. What is this? Continuous circular capsulorhexis. Look at this. This is circular incision. So this is continuous circular capsulorhexis. And then hydrodissection. That is separation of cortex from the lens capsule. And then with the help of IOL dialer, nucleus is delivered into the anterior chamber, and then nucleus is delivered outside with the help of irrigating wire vectis, and then irrigation and aspiration of cortex, and finally there is insertion of inferior haptic. First of all, inferior haptic is inserted into the capsular bag, and then superior haptic is inserted into the capsular bag, and then dialing of IOL so that it fits into the capsular bag, and then closure of this conjunctival flap with the help of wet field cautery. Thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.